They say our universe is still expanding, right? But I want to look at why it's still expanding. When you blow a bubble, it kind of spreads out, gets bigger until it eventually just pops off. And now you got a full sphere with everything of the universe inside it, time, history, all that, correct? Where that force is coming from, that initial force to initially expand the universe, it's not a full 360 expansion until the universe is fully formed, to where the universe can get bigger and bigger. Kind of similar to how a fruit grows, right? For example, an apple. It kind of expands not really in every single direction, does it? No. I mean, in terms of the center of the apple, sure, but not necessarily all the way around, right? This is kind of similar to the universe. We can still look and see kind of where that force of the expansion is kind of coming from, right? You can look into space and see that. But a lot of scientists tell us that we're essentially looking through time when we're doing that, which I guess you can say is kind of a form of time travel in a way. However, you can't really just travel to there, because if you travel to there by space in, the normal fashion of the speed of light, would you necessarily get there to still see the expansion? Or is it already done and gone and we're a fully formed universe at this point? Right? Um, and this kind of continues with the whole time travel discussion that really you can't just travel through time. I mean, you can see through time because it takes time for space to expand. That's why it's called space and time. But in terms of traveling through it, because of the relativity, would you really travel through time if you were to just warp over there? And even physically traveling, because all that light is basically still coming, that expansion would, one, look different, and two, like I said, might not even be there. Or would it still be there? There was one video I watched a while ago that kind of mentioned something that would go against Einstein's theory a little bit, I think. So basically, when light comes out of the sun, right? This light is traveling against gravity, isn't it? We know, thanks to black holes, that light is also affected by gravity. Which means it's not really going at its full speed, is it? No. Not only that, why is there a speed limit of the speed of light? Is there really a universal speed limit? We all know laws are meant to be broken eventually. I mean, we have, what, a couple waterfalls that are falling backwards, where they're actually upfalls, essentially. Where the waterfalls are basically going in the opposite direction. That's a major exception to the force of gravity, is it not? The rule has been broken. Okay, let's look at life, right? How is it that life is able to exist in a volcano or in the most frozen waters on the planet? Right? And this goes further to show that we're not just the only ones in the universe, because if life can exist in conditions like that, there might even be more life on our own in our own solar system, right? But basically what I'm saying is that light coming from the sun is traveling against gravity from the sun. It escapes the sun, yes. But what does that mean about its speed? As it's leaving the sun, its speed is continuously slowing down. Now, what I'm getting at is, what if the light that we see from the Big Bang is actually hitting our eyes the moment it leaves the Big Bang? As in, it's actually at max speed, right? Like the max of the max. Infinite of infinite. That kind of speed, right? Because you can warp through space. I mean, we've seen it on Star Trek. You can warp through space to get to another universe in an instant. Why can't light? What I'm trying to say is, are we really looking through time in the universe just by looking up in the night sky? I don't think so. I don't think we're just merely looking through time. We're looking through space as well. We can see the expansion of the universe straight from its core. Is our universe really done expanding? Is the Big Bang still going on? It's only been what, 14 billion years, I think, or more? I would imagine it would probably take trillions of years for a universe to get done blowing to a full-formed bubble. In some of these other universes like Honky Impact, the universe may very well be done forming. So now the Honky is there ready to destroy it because it's no longer attached to its tree. And even so, when cells divide, another bubble is also forming. It may very well even be that Big Bang spot, matter and antimatter? It may very well be that if you were to travel through that hotspot, you may very well get to the other side and see another universe that is a complete anti to our own. Matter and antimatter are basically opposite twins, and you're like fraternal twins. I mean, but you're not necessarily just traveling through time, or you're not just looking through time, you're looking through space as well. What if that light traveled faster than we think? This wouldn't necessarily be a break or a breach in Einstein's theory either, because that light still had its own relative time. We still had our own relative time. The universes still had their own relative time. But the relativity of time wouldn't be based on the speed that you're traveling, but more so maybe from gravity or some other force that we just don't know about yet, like dark matter or whatever that would just block light out. Basically what I'm saying is, I'm making a lot more questions for us than I honestly should. That is basically what I'm saying, is we come to conclusions for certain things, I feel like, a little too quickly. And I don't know, it's just something that I found interesting in one video that kind of made me question whether light does actually travel at the speed Einstein set, or is it faster, making that Big Bang still a thing that's happening in the current. I don't know. But I think we can now head to the conclusion of this video. Basically, everything that I have discussed thus far is basically everything for the bubble theory. And most of my opinions at this point right now, or most of my thought process, has kind of been sparked because of Honky Impact Third and a bunch of other videos that I watched. Honky Impact Third made me a real believer of the bubble universe. Just because, I mean, we have so many different games of our own, so many universes that we've made of our own, that there's just no way other universes just don't exist. And there's bubbles among bubbles among bubbles, right? Even the Sea Aquenta in the imaginary tree isn't the only Sea Aquenta in imaginary tree. There's an even bigger Sea Aquenta in imaginary tree. Stacked and stacked and stacked. Just like Alicization in SAO. You have the real world, you go into Alicization. What if eventually Alicization ends up making their own new worlds? Universe upon universe upon universe. For a programmer, you can look at it more like recursion, where you have the same chunk of code repeating and repeating and repeating, but the stack is unlimited. Imagine that. And we are somewhere within this stack, possibly at the very, very bottom or top, you know. Wherever new universes are being stacked in, yeah, so we would be at the top, right? Actually, we wouldn't necessarily be at the complete top, but, you know, right? And, you know, the bubble universe theory just signifies that our lives are very, very insignificant. And that time travel, it kind of also speaks on time travel as well, that it's just like, is it really that easy to travel through time? Or are we just traveling through space? How do you necessarily travel through time? Does speed really have a limit? I mean, when you speed too fast in a video game, you might break some of the laws, but you can still travel. No one said you can't travel faster than that. And does that really affect time? No. You could make your speed in Minecraft times 10,000, but the speed in the Minecraft world would still be the same. Only would you have a slower time, right? But you're still traveling through space. So which means the Big Bang could still be happening and hitting our eyes the instant it's coming out. You know? Anyways, this is the conclusion of this entire video. Honestly, this video alone may have sparked me wanting to make a few more videos, even more like about time travel or whatever. And I would suggest you guys leaving your own thoughts, agreements, disagreements. You can tell me how wrong I am. I don't care, because scientific discoveries take discussion and thought. Correct? I mean, how else have we gotten to where we are today, where we have physical electronics that allow me to record this video? So anyways, with that being said, guys, I'll talk to you guys later.